$1 million. It's the number everyone chases, the line where you finally get to stop and say, I made it. And hitting it is real. Only about 650,000 Americans have $1 million 401k. If you're one of them, you're in rare company. But here's what nobody tells you about the moment you actually retire on it. $1 million does not pay you $1 million. At a safe withdrawal rate, it pays you about $40,000 a year, $3,300 a month. And if that million is sitting in a traditional 401k, you don't even own all of it. The IRS owns a slice you haven't subtracted yet. So is a million enough? It might be exactly enough, but only if you understand what it really is. Because the millionaire next door isn't living like a millionaire. He's living on what $1 million actually is, a paycheck. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what that paycheck really looks like after taxes and inflation, the two retirees who both hit $1 million and ended up worlds apart, and why treating it like a jackpot is the fastest way to blow it. No hype, just the math. Let's get into it. Let's start with why $1 million feels like so much more than it pays. For your whole working life, $1 million is the summit. It's the number in the movies, the number your parents never came close to, the figure that means rich. So the day your statement finally crosses 7 figures, your brain files it under one word: wealthy. But wealthy is a feeling. Income is a fact. And those two things drift very far apart at exactly this number. $1 million balance and $1 million lifestyle are not the same thing. They're not even close. The balance is what you own. The income is what it pays. And almost nobody does the conversion until the paychecks stop. And the only thing left is what the million actually produces. So let's do the conversion most people skip. You've heard of the 4% rule. In your first year of retirement, you can pull about 4% of your savings, adjust it for inflation, and have a strong chance it lasts 30 years. 4% of $1 million is $40,000 a year. Divide that by 12, and your million is handing you about $3,300 a month. Now, you're not living on that alone. Add an average Social Security check, and a couple can land around $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Call it $60,000 to $65,000 a year. And here's the honest part, because I'm not going to tell you $1 million is nothing. $65,000 a year is a comfortable, solidly middle-class retirement. It is genuinely good news. But look closely at what it is. It's comfortable. It is not yachts. It is not private jets. It is not the life the word millionaire puts in your head. $1 million doesn't make you rich. It makes you okay. And the people who confuse those two things are the ones who get in trouble. Now let's subtract the part almost nobody subtracts. If your million is sitting in a traditional 401k or IRA, here's the uncomfortable truth. It has never been taxed, not $1 of it, which means you have a silent partner on that account, and that partner is the IRS. How big is his slice? That depends entirely on how you take the money out. Drip it slowly, $40,000 a year, and after the standard deduction, you're in the lowest tax brackets, 10 or 12%. The bite is small. Your million might really be worth around $850,000 to you. But here's where it bites hard. At 73, the government forces you to start pulling money out, whether you need it or not, required minimum distributions. And on a big traditional balance, those forced withdrawals can push you into higher brackets and tax more of your Social Security right along with them. The slower and smarter you withdraw, the smaller the partner's cut. Let it balloon, and he takes a lot more. $1 million in a Roth account, by contrast, is a true million, already taxed, all yours. Same number on paper, very different number in real life. There's one more force quietly working against your million, and it never sleeps. Inflation. The number on your statement doesn't change. $1 million says $1 million, year after year. But what that million buys shrinks every single year you hold it. At a modest 3% inflation, 20 years into retirement, your $1 million has the purchasing power of about $550,000. Same balance. Half the groceries, half the gas, half the trips. You didn't lose any money, the price of everything just doubled around you. So when you retire on $1 million, you're not managing a number. You're managing its slow erosion, which means the million has to keep working, invested, growing, not sitting in cash feeling safe while it quietly melts. Let me put faces on this. Meet David. David hit a million right around 62, and it felt like winning the lottery. 7 figures. He'd made it. So he retired the next month and started living like the word he saw in his statement, millionaire. A new truck. The trips they had always talked about. He pulled 70,000 the first year because, hey, he was a millionaire. What's 70 grand to a millionaire? But David wasn't a millionaire in the way he thought. He was a man with a $40,000 paycheck spending like he had double that. The withdrawals were too big. The taxes on his traditional account were bigger than he planned. And a rough market in his first few years quietly did the rest. By his late 70s, the million was mostly a memory, and David was back to looking at part-time work. The number didn't fail him. The way he read it did. Now meet Susan, same million. Same age. The difference was the word she used for it. Susan never called her million a fortune. She called it a paycheck, about 40,000 a year. And she built her life around that number, not around the 7 figures on the page. She made a few quiet moves. She kept her spending in line with what the money actually produced. She'd split her savings between traditional and Roth over the years, so she could control her taxes instead of letting RMDs control them. And she kept a couple of years of spending in cash, so a bad market early on couldn't force her to sell at the bottom. Same $1 million. But Susan's lasted, and 15 years in, it had actually grown. She didn't have more money than David at the start. She had a better definition of what the money was. So the one everyone actually came here for. Is $1 million enough to retire? And the honest answer is yes, for a comfortable middle-class retirement, but only if you treat it right. Because the real question was never, do I have $1 million? It's what income does this produce after taxes, after inflation, and do I have a plan for it? A planned million beats an unplanned $1.5 million every single time. I've watched people with 800,000 and a clear plan retire with more peace than people with 2 million and no plan at all. The number on the statement is the smallest part of the story. What matters is the paycheck it produces, how much of that paycheck you actually keep, and whether you treat it like a salary or a slot machine. So let's bring it home. $1 million is not a finish line. It's not a trophy you put on a shelf. It's a paycheck, about $40,000 a year, meant to last you the rest of your life. Hitting it is a real achievement. Only a tiny slice of Americans ever do. But the ones who stay comfortable aren't the ones who hit the number and celebrate. They're the ones who hit it and respect it, who treat it like the steady salary it is, protect it from taxes and inflation, and never confuse a big balance with a rich life. David and Susan started in the exact same place. One read his million as a jackpot. One read hers as a paycheck. That one word decided everything. Don't chase the number. Understand what it really pays. And when you get there, and you can get there, treat your million like what it is, the most important paycheck you'll ever earn. One last thing, and it matters. Most people only learn this stuff after it's too late to fix it. So if you're anywhere near retirement, subscribe. Every week I break down one more of these money decisions in plain English, so you see it coming while you can still do something about it. Don't learn it the hard way. I'll see you in the next one.